Hi everyone, I'm Laura from the Berry and Wonder programme, although a lot of you know me from Angel Therapies. Oh, you always feel like you've got everything on silent and then something pops up, so I'm just going to get rid of that. So hello and welcome, and I'm here to talk about Wanda Meets Berry, the first book in the programme, the Berry and Wonder programme. So as you can see, I'm glittering Facebook and social media with lots and lots of information about my new book, because I want to spread the word. I know that it's a book that lots of children will enjoy and find magical and also helpful. And so I really just want to get it out there as best as I can. It is going to be the first book. It is the first book in a series. I have started and written some others to go along with it. So I thought, I've talked in a couple of places about sort of my reasoning behind it. And if you look at my Kickstarter page, there's a bit of a short video at what it's here. So the book, I say that the age range for the book is up to 7. You know, some children older than 7 might like it as well. Adults will probably like it too. But that's just a guide age range. But the book is being launched independently to the programme, I suppose. The books are being launched independently, as well as going to be utilised and used within the programme, which at the moment is aimed at supporting new parents with babies all the way up to preschool age. The plan is over the next course of maybe sort of 5 years or so that eventually Berry and Wanda will be able to support children all the way up to 11 as well. But you know, one step at a time. I've got lovely big plans for this, but definitely one step at a time, and that has been a massive learning curve. Patience is not always my best virtue, absolutely not. Definitely when it comes to things that I'm passionate about, and this is definitely one of those things. So it is a book that will go alongside that. In fact, it's the story that gets used in the first session, the very first new baby session, which is all about bonding and connection. Whereas they were never going to be independently published when I had this idea in my mind. I just thought I'll just write some stories that will go alongside the sessions, and it will just be a real nice way of tying it together. I've been inspired by other therapists that have done something similar, and when the idea came into my head, because if I said something like this 6 months ago, I'd have probably laughed and been like, you are. So you know, the whole idea just came through complete inspiration. And originally, you know, the idea was it's just that the story's there, the parents get the stories part of the handout, there'll be techniques that go alongside it, and we bring it all together. But as I was writing the stories, I kind of felt that actually, I don't know who wrote it because it didn't feel like it was me. Never in a million years thought I'd be able to put something down that I'd be happy with, let alone something that I'd be happy enough to go and look at self-publishing with, to be honest. And so I just kind of felt, you know, all of my kids like the books, probably a bit fed up of me asking them to listen to what I'm telling them, but I know that they do love them and they love the stories, and they keep asking when the book's going to be out. And I just felt that they could do with being a bit more than just in the baby sessions. They are a big part of the baby sessions, but older children could appreciate and get something from them as well. And I just thought, well, why not? And I debated about, well, do I include other techniques or session things with them? And I just thought, if I keep the story, the poem, as authentic as it is, and allow children just to simply enjoy the story and the flow of rhyme. And then at the back of the book, there is a nice short mindfulness technique for them to have a go at that just helps remind them in this book about friendships and who their friends are. And it's not just, you know, people that they might go to school with or whatever, it's people that they know, and it's out of those type of circumstances as well. So, you know, even family members or neighbours or pets or anybody else really that could be classed as a friend as well. It just gets them to focus on that and remember, because sometimes it's really easy to forget who we've got around us. We do it a lot as adults, forget that it's okay to ask for help, or to really think about, you know, that friends are there for us as well as us being there for them. So I really thought that I wasn't doing the book enough justice to keep it restricted to the program, and so that's why I've decided to release the books one at a time, to a wider audience and older children as well. So that's where I kind of got with that. And then, because I've never really done anything like this before, there's been a lot of research going into it on lots of different levels, because it's not just a book that I've written, it's part of a program, and that program has got ideas and room to grow. And so I just had to do a lot of research. And so there was the whole idea of, yeah, okay, I know that people can independently publish. I know it's probably one of the best times ever to be able to do that because of all the different software and all the different methods and things now. And so obviously the research process started. And I looked at a few different options. And then I'd heard about Kickstarter projects and I decided to look into it. I've been on a couple of children's indie book publishing Facebook groups, and they've been an absolute wealth of help and support and fountain of knowledge. I've learned a lot about self-publishing and going down that whole route just from being a part of those groups. It's amazing this amount of support that you get. Throughout the sort of first lockdown, there was a couple of videos from other support groups that happened to talk about publishing and, you know, writing a book and things like that. And at that time I was like, oh, this is interesting. But I can't ever imagine myself doing that. Crazy. But that was helpful too. It's always good to just kind of learn and just gain and absorb information, because you never know when you're going to need it. You know, a few months down the line in my case. So yeah, I was looking into it, and you know, there is a route where you can get books printed on demand, which is good, but and then you can get them sent, so they can get sent directly to bookshops, they can get sent directly to online bookshops and things like that. But then you don't ever kind of see you kind of get your proof and you order the books that you want, but then you haven't got any quality control over where they're kind of going out and who they're going to. And just looking at their options and who you're kind of tied into using, if you go down certain routes. And so I'd heard about Kickstarter and I was just kind of looking into it, didn't really understand too much about how it worked, but a couple of the other indie self-publishers had been using them. And so I decided to have a look and check it out. So I went on there, looked at other people that are using Kickstarter to launch their children's books. I backed a couple just to kind of see the process really. So there's one in the UK that I've backed. It's a lovely book. I can't wait to get it. I haven't actually received it yet, but there's fantastic updates. So you know exactly what's going on. There's a great timeline that kind of gives you an idea of when to expect it. And I think it'll probably, by the sounds of it, I'll get my first one this week. And I thought I'll decide to back an international one as well. So I backed a Canadian book, so I was still waiting on that. That finished a little bit later. But at the time I backed a book that had already been full. They'd met their target. And so I knew that that one would definitely be going ahead. And then the other one, it hadn't quite met the target when I backed it. And so I just thought, well, it'd be interesting to kind of see the process either way. I hope it gets published. Obviously, that's the whole idea. I hope it reaches its target. You never want anybody else to fail. But I thought either way, it'd be interesting to kind of see what happens and also see what happens internationally as well. So I don't have that book yet either, and it'll probably be quite a bit longer before I receive that. But I was aware of that and expecting it. So I looked around, I was looking at the different campaigns and looking at how they were put together and looking at the different options and packages that people were offering for supporters, for backers to be able to opt into, and kind of looking at maybe seeing if I could see trends or patterns of ones that looked more successful than the others or more appealing from like a buyer's point of view. And so I kind of did that and sat on it a little bit, and I was just looking into different options, and I kind of came to the conclusion that actually I might just want to get them printed myself through a company, buy them in bulk, and Kickstarter gives you a good option for that. So what it means is the whole point of a Kickstarter, it's almost like a pre-order. Obviously you have to be careful. You can't officially say, they say that technically you're not buying an item, because it's a lot of the time it's because they're not actually physically there. In fact, what happens is that you kind of set your target. So I've been looking into the costs of everything: postage and packaging, printing, ISBNs, Kickstarter costs and everything like that. So I kind of get an idea of what everything's going to cost me, and obviously look at, you know, this is a business as well, so obviously look at what I'd ideally like to take. There is the illustrator that also needs to take her payout of it all as well, Julie. She definitely deserves not just a recognition, but also deserves her chunk of the of it for all the hard work that she's put in and the belief that she's kind of putting in this project as well. So you kind of look at all of the different sort of costs and put it all together, and so you come up with an idea of what your minimum target is. So, you know, I kind of had a look at how many books I'd probably be looking at printing in one go, and seeing, you know, what I'd need to be able to get to do that, looking at how much the book's going to cost, to make sure that, you know, all the different costs are covered, all the different charges and things are covered as well. So I did all that research, and I just thought it was a really good way to kind of give it a go. I want it to succeed. The great thing about this, from my point of view, being the author, is that if it doesn't meet the target, then Kickstarter and myself, we don't get anything from it. And it just means that I'll have to look at alternative ways of getting the book printed or going about it a bit differently. And also for people that are backing it as well. So the way that it works from your point of view is that you go on there and you have a look, and if it's something, whether it's my campaign or whether it's somebody else's, if it's something that you're interested in, kind of should give you all the information that you need to know in order to decide whether this is something that you want to invest in or not. So you choose an option, and what happens is that you have got control over, you know, how much you pledge or what option that you would like to choose. For instance, on mine, I've got, you know, just a donation, which means that you don't get a physical product. You're just donating because you believe in the project, and then that's entirely up to you how much you'd like to support. And then the book, the lowest sort of option, purchasing option, is the book, which is £8, and then it's like different options. You could buy multiple books, or you could get some stickers or a print as well. So every different campaign has got different options, so it gives people a bit more makes it a little bit more attractive, gives people like limited edition options, gives people different ways in which they can back and support, which is lovely. But what happens is that you kind of pledge that amount. You've got full control over that account, so you can change it at any time during the length of time that campaign's running. So I'm running mine for 30 days. So it started Saturday night, it finishes the evening, I think it's about 7:30ish, at the evening of Monday the 29th of March. So it's just that amount of time. And so during that time, you can, up until the campaign ends, you can change your pledge as much as you want. As soon as that has finished, if the minimum target has been met, then that means that that campaign has been fulfilled and it can go ahead. So what happens is that you then are charged on the end date. So in our case, when it does get completely filled up and we meet our minimum target, that means that it'll be the 29th of March that your account will be debited with the amount that you've agreed to pledge. I send you an email, I request your details so I know where I've got to send all the lovely books to, and then I keep you up to date with the process. So if it wasn't to succeed in that way, so the book will succeed one way or another, but if it wasn't to succeed through Kickstarter, then it would mean that you just wouldn't be charged and it would just go no further through them. And so nothing would have left your account. You've got absolutely no risk whatsoever in that sense. So it is quite a nice way to do it, and I think it's great that it's not really it's not a risk for me, and it's not a risk for people that are wanting to support either. And it doesn't mean that I can't then approach, it's not like my one and only shot to get my book out into the world. So I thought, well, why not? Because then I can have got more options in terms of printing. I've got more options in terms of where I want to get it printed and printing quality, things like that. Because you're a little bit more limited. If you're printing on demand, then the books generally tend to cost more per book in order to get them printed to begin with. So it means that they're not as cost effective. So then I'd have to look at the costs of the book and how much I was going to charge. And so obviously that all has an impact as well. And then it depends on what options that they've got in terms of your paper thickness, your cover thickness, the finish of the book and things like that. So again, it just depends on who you go through as to that flexibility that you have or that you want. And so if you go through the print on demand, you tend to be a little bit more restricted in that sense. So I thought, well, if I can give Kickstarter a go, it'll mean that I could be most likely to get a better quality book printed for a much more reasonable cost in comparison, because I'll be buying in bulk to begin with. So, and obviously any books that I do have left over, then I've their stock to sell on afterwards. I can sell them through other means, through my website, through the classes, etc. So that's the reason why I kind of chose it. So it's kind of a bit of a win-win for everybody. The one thing that I've kind of found is that all the hard work and the research that I've put in before getting this done is just the start. And so marketing, I've always considered, considering I've been in business and self-employed for quite a few years now, and marketing and promotion is something that I would never consider as my strong suit, and I still really don't now. Particularly when it comes to like selling things, physical things. So this is a big challenge. And actually, the Kickstarter, it's not just about, put it out there and then everybody will support and then it'll be fine. Actually, now for these next 30 days, it really is about raising awareness, spreading the message, letting people know that, there are these tools and these books that are going to be around that can help support children's health and well-being. That are going to be part of a larger program as well. So, over the next 12 months, over the next 5 years, that this whole program is just going to grow and add on more ways in which that we can support children's and their families' mental health, emotional, physical health, helping children to learn from a really, really young age what it is to be self-aware, to the importance of self-nurture, the importance of that supporting their mental, emotional, psychological growth and development, as well as their physical, so all these different practices, the different mindfulness, affirmations, relaxation, meditations, just those little techniques of massage, reflexology, yoga, are all these life skills really that they can not just not just use while they're young, but also these are tools that they're going to continue to be able to use as they get older. And these, it's so essential. They're the first port of call. All holistic type therapies are all about prevention, rather than trying to get to a point where a cure is needed. And so if we can teach the younger generations, if we can teach our children how to look after themselves, going back to those basics again and just building that awareness and building that support, then it means that can follow through, and so they can be more empowered to support their health and well-being. So when it comes to it, they'll need less medical intervention, hopefully. Or if they do, they know how to work alongside it. And their immune system will be better, their physical health will be better, their mental, emotional health, they'll enjoy, life, their levels of stress will reduce. And we know, particularly with the situation as it is at the moment, how important that is and how much children have been affected. So if we can bring that awareness back and we can give them the tools from a really young age going forward, it's going to become automatic. It's going to be part of their routine and part of their self-management and being a responsible person to actually use those tools themselves. And so that's sort of where the Berry and Wanda program is coming from. And so obviously the main characters are Berry and Wanda, and Berry is a pixie and Wanda is a fairy, and they live together in the forest, Firefly Forest. But they start off as, being divided and not knowing about each other, and then they come together and realise that actually they're better together as friends. and then they go on their different journeys, and that's going to help them learn about the world and learn all about this, again, self-awareness and being there for each other. And the different skills and techniques are going to come into those stories and just help bring it to life for children and their families. So that's why I've done it. And obviously I just wanted to explain a little bit about Kickstarter and how it is and how it works. So I'm not sure whether, I think when I'm on here I can share the screen so you can see. Just had a bit of a blank moment. So you can see it kind of like from my point of view, if I get the right page up to begin with, that would be wonderful. So I'm going to share the screen now. If anybody's got any questions, let me know. I'd really appreciate all the support to help get this off the ground. It'd be amazing. There's a lot of dedication, and not just my enthusiasm and passion, but also Julie's and Carly's design, put the book together and made it look good. Really brought out the illustrations. So this is what it looks like on here. And so as you can see there, I am about, I think they said it's about 19% funded. So I've got 28 days to go, guys. So I really need to get lots more support. So please share if it is something that you connect with and something that you feel drawn to and would like to get behind and support, please do. Even if it's just a small donation, it all really helps. Absolutely. So it kind of, there's a video here, I'm not going to play it for you because you can play it yourself. Also, really don't like watching myself back. It was bad enough trying to do the little edits on me speaking. And then this is just telling you about it. So obviously that's me. You can see I told you I've backed 2 books, and you know what, there's so many more books that I'm probably going to end up backing as well. Anybody that knows me and has seen my book collection, not just kids books but also therapy books and everything, will probably know that I've been not surprised by what I've just said. So just kind of talk a little bit here about, you know, what it's about, what I've basically said in this video, talked about the book. It's going to be 10 by 8, so it's going to be portrait, or all the books will be portrait, apart from, at the moment, apart from one, which will be a special birthday one. See, I've got loads of plans. And this is like my pie chart. Again, I was really proud of myself, managed to find some software that creates a pie chart for you, or a donut chart, because it's got a hole in the middle. And that kind of gives you a bit of a breakdown. So as you can see, like, most of the funding is actually needed for the printing. I'm sure you're not surprised about that, but also getting like the ISBNs, the designing, the packaging, the postage and packaging, because that all kind of gets included in the total cost. And obviously Kickstarter, you know, because at the end of the day they provide such a fabulous platform in order for us to get our items out there and to get like these pre-orders in. So one thing that I didn't really and should have thought more about is putting a bit of a marketing budget in there as well, but that is definitely there for next time. And so yeah, it just tells you about it here, what the money's for. And then I've done a little timeline. And so you can see that actually it was October, it's only October last year that they kind of, Berry and Wanda kind of came to me while I was having a bath, just out of the blue. I really didn't. It was just one of those things. It was like one minute there was no idea there, and the next minute it was almost wholly formed in my mind. And I think I've been driving Joel and the kids mad since. So even if it's just to kind of put them, give them some peace, just back the campaign, just to make them feel a little bit better. And so as you can see here, I was going to actually launch the 8th of March, but again, this was a bit of a learning curve when I went on there on Saturday night, because they have to check it over, Kickstarter, just to make sure that all the elements are there that they need in order for it to launch. And then it kind of went, oh, well, do you want to launch it? I was like, well, does that mean that it's still the 8th of March, the date that I put down, or is it actually launching now? And it was like launching now. And I thought, you know what, I'm just going to do it. So I bit the bullet. So so I will probably amend that, actually, now that I'm going through and seeing that I can amend this part of the campaign. So yeah, it actually launched the 27th of February. So it launched on Joel's birthday. And so it's on for for 30 days in total. So it's 30 days from the 27th of February, which is actually better because it gives me a chance to get the books out before April, which is nice. So I can maybe enjoy the half term, the Easter break with the family instead. I've ordered some boxes already. I've got 200 boxes ready to go. They've arrived. I've got the packaging. I've got the bubble wrap all ready to go, and it's all eco-friendly. I've got eco-friendly biodegradable bubble wrap and I'm excited about it, even the parcel tape as well. So yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? The little things. My pins should be arriving, the badges should be arriving this week some point, as well as a couple of the stickers. I've just got them. I am going to do 5 different ones, but I've got the 2 that are on order. I'll place the other ones later. So I've already started getting things together, guys. So it's getting really exciting. So here, stretch goals. So basically, my initial target at the top is the minimum. So if we meet the minimum, that means that it goes ahead and everybody can get their books, and that's fantastic. These are stretch goals. So if we get above that, because it could go as much of above as you like, it means that there's just it's incentives really to try and help and encourage people. So to share and spread the love, because the more that we get to back this project, the more goodies that you get for being part of it as well. So if we reach 4,000 in backing in total, then everybody gets some free downloadable colouring in sheets. If we reach 5,000, then everybody gets a children's MP3 meditation that will be recorded by myself, and they'll go with Berry and Wanda on a lovely relaxing journey. If we reach 6,000, then every backer above £18 gets a free enamel badge. So a little Berry or a little Wanda badge. If we reach 8,000, then I will donate 100 copies of Berry and Wanda to UK primary schools. So that will kind of be dotted around. I haven't decided which ones yet, but I'll kind of maybe try and spread them around a little bit just to make it fair. I will, however, regardless of how much that I make, I will be donating a certain amount to my kids' local primary school, 5 or so, just because I think it's just a lovely thing to be able to do, to give back and to contribute as well. So these are the rewards. It kind of tells you about it. My computer's telling me that I thought that I'd plugged my charger back in, but obviously haven't done it properly, so I'm gonna have to watch out. Oh, and I need to come off as well soon. So Berry and Wanda, that's the book. These are what the 2 stickers will look like. There will be another 3 on there as well. And these are the badges. So those are for adult. Obviously little ones got to be careful with. So older children or adults, I'll definitely be having can't beat a nice badge. And the print as well. So I was kind of deciding which illustration do I want to make as a special edition print or the limited edition print, and it's got to be that one where they're magic. So for when they were together, the magic grew and swirled. So that is taken from the book. It is a poem-based book. And obviously the meditation, I can't really put that on there because it's a recording. And this tells all about Julie and her wonderful illustrations and why self-publishing. So I could have tried to go down a publisher's route, but for me and what I envision for Berry and Wanda, it's not just books. And I don't mean that with disrespect, I love books, but it's going to be a whole program. It's not just going to be published work. It's going to be courses. It's going to be session based. And so I really needed to be able to keep the rights to my written work and to be able to use them in any way that I see fit. And also potentially to be able to have the say if I wanted to have them translated into other languages as well. Because you never know, Berry and Wanda might eventually go global one of these days. Years probably. So I also wanted to be able to have that right as well, whereas if it's going through a traditional publishing house or publishing company, then actually they get the rights to see whether it's worth going down that route with books, which is fair enough. So I wanted to keep control, which is why I've gone down this route. So it just gives me more control over my program and for the books, and to be able to take it in the direction that I want to take it in. So that's why I've chose it really. So I've ended up speaking and waffling on for ages. I'm going to stop that share now. Any questions, please let me know. Send me a message, send me comment, etc. Just let me know, and please, if there's anybody that you think would really like these books, would like to know about the program, please just share and send them messages, point them in the direction. And obviously, if you think this is something that you or your little ones or somebody that you know would really like to be a part of or to have, again, please think about backing and supporting this program and this process. And I look forward to taking everybody on the journey. The second book is about 95% ready to go as well. Very, very fancy smile. I haven't talked about that yet. And it's all about, it's kind of like about it's okay not to be okay, but sometimes it's also about having that support there as well, just to sit with you. Wanda, who ends up nearly sat up snoring, but helps him find his smile again. So it's all getting there, and it's been a massive labour of love. And what a journey. It has had its massive ups and it's had its downs, as any journey does, but I'm really so excited to see how far this goes and for the future of Berry and Wanda. I'm going to have a house full of magical watercolour illustrations for all these wonderful books that are coming into formation. So please, let me know what you think, and hopefully that might have answered some of the questions or some of the thoughts you might have had around what is a Kickstarter and how does it work. And I hope I've helped to answer that. And keep an eye out for all these little lives and things that are coming on, just to kind of help you follow with the process. So, you know, like the unboxing of the pins and stickers when they come and everything like that. I think I'll spare you the whole the unboxing or the opening of the postage boxes and the bubble wrap and the tape. I don't think you're probably too, keen to see that one, so I won't do a video on that, don't worry. Although you never know. No, I won't do a video on that, but I'll introduce you to Wanda, I'll introduce you to Berry, introduce you to Julie and Carly. And yeah, thank you so much for taking the time to watch it, and I